Yuri, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you, man. You're one of my favorite fighters, so it's difficult to not like fanboy over you. But I really appreciate you and wish you nothing but the best for UFC 300. I'll be rooting for you, bro.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
Yuri. Take care.
Thank you.
Talk soon. Talk soon.
I'm sorry. This is not where you'll see the interview. I unfortunately can't drop this here, but I'm here to talk about it. The interview will probably drops on Full Violence YouTube channel. They've already have a few interviews. I did a Manel cap, it's on there, but the problem is the quality isn't the best. You know what I mean? I haven't figured out Zoom and like how to record with the nice quality and stuff. But I bought a new webcam today, so the next few interviews that I'll do with them are probably going to be much better quality. But I interviewed Yuri Prochazka today. I did my first ever interview with Manel Cap a few days ago, maybe last week or the week before that. And then today they asked me to do Yuri Prochazka. And listen, I'm not really much of an interview guy in the first place. You know what I mean? I make videos. I've been on YouTube for a long time and understand the YouTube game. And obviously, I have this channel where I talk here and there and stuff like that, but it's never been a consistent thing. You know, TFB Stocks is more so just for my own pleasure, for me to sit down and talk about my thoughts. And because whenever I watch UFC, I just get, the urge to speak because I'm just a narcissistic person and feel like my opinion matters when it don't. But that's just the reality, right? So when they approached me, Full Violence approached me about this, I sort of got at first I was a bit like, I'm not the right guy for this. Like I'm not an interview person, but in the end I don't think that's what they were looking for, and that's why I think it worked well, like the connection, because they're not really looking for a Brett Okamoto or a Ariel Helwani. They're really looking for someone that is a fan and that can have conversation with fighters as a fan. And I think that's what I bring to the table. And I'm glad I did it because there's a big part of me every time there's something that I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but it feels like when there's an opportunity that comes my way, my brain my brain makes excuses to not do it, and I refuse to listen to these thoughts because I was initially making excuses like I'm not the guy for this. I shouldn't be doing this. I should prioritize other things. Blah blah. Blah. But in the end, it's something that's gonna make me grow. It's something that is gonna bring me obviously visibility, and it's great. And I just build connection with fighters and stuff like that. Understand a little bit in depth their mentality, and that's what I'm most happy about doing these interviews, right? So I wouldn't even call them interviews because they are interviews, but I just want to feel like I'm different than an interviewer. I have conversation with fighters, all right? This is what I do. But it's really true, when I set when I set up, the Zoom calls, I don't, name myself or introduce them, or I just hop right in, have a few questions lined up, but it's just I try to flow into the conversation as much as possible. But there's guys, you know what I mean, like Yuri Prohaska, who is so intense that you can just feel like he he doesn't want, like, I don't know how to say, he's intense but not mean. He's a very nice guy, but you could tell he's really intense about his values and morals, the things he follows. He always talks about like a samurai code or a warrior code. And in the interview, I remember asking him something about it. Like, I said that represent his aura well, and he kind of got pissed off a little bit. Like, he said something like, it's not about promotion. He said it's not something that I'm just doing for promotion. I'm doing it because it's really who I am. And yeah, there's, certain things that he says, you can tell he's really deep into it. And you can't blame it, because when you're fighting in the cage and you're going out there in front of, I always say this, thousands of people, you kind of have to be either a bit stupid or different. It's one or the other, you know what I mean? And you have to, I think you have to follow very strict regiment and protocols to be sane mentally and physically to do this for a living. So when you talk to these fighters, it's really fun to dive in depth and ask questions about the reality of being a fighter. So I really enjoyed it. But like I said, this dude Yuri Prohaska is one intense dude. And you could just tell by his answers. I talked a little bit about his upcoming fight at UFC 300 and stuff like that. And you could tell he was really hyped up and he was preparing, and he was doing all he can to, like, be as prepared as possible for the fight, and also he wants the winner of Pereira and Jamal Hill. So I don't know if that's gonna happen because there is Magomed Ankalaev, but he told me, he said, I just want to face the winner, and I don't know if they do this again, but man, maybe it's just because I did an interview now, so I have to be biased towards him, right? But I'm probably going to do interviews with a lot of fighters, so I'm kind of like trying to set myself up to be neutral as much as possible. This is kind of the boring stuff, you know what I mean? Like the part that is a bit annoying. I don't want to be careful too much with my words. I don't want to like be too like PG, you know what I mean? I want to say what I want to say. And hopefully I'm still capable of doing that. Hopefully I don't like get crushed by these guys, be like, hey, you said this in this video, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do for a living, right? I just talk about fighters, so I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, now that I've done an interview with Yuri, I'm very biased, but I do think that fight with Pereira is a very interesting matchup. I'd love to see it again. Pereira do got some power though, so it is what it is. I think he is getting older. It's going to be fun and interesting to see that matchup between Jamal Hill and Pereira. But yeah, I don't know if Yuri gets it right away because I think they're waiting for that winner to face Ankalaev. So Jamal Hill's first, Yuri second, and Ankalaev is third. Yeah, Ankalaev's not going to fight Jan but Yuri is second, right? So if he fights and he beats Rakic, who else does he fight? Does he fight Jan again? No, I mean, he didn't fight Jan, but I'm saying like Jan just lost. He lost to Pereira. Well, not just, but he lost. So I don't know if Jan is 41 too. I don't know if he wants to stick around for long. And I just feel like it's kind of a matchup that is predestined. Like we know what's going to happen, in my opinion. Just because Jan is getting older, he's on the decline a little bit. But Ankalaev is also the guy where, what does he do if he doesn't fight for the belt next? Does he fight like Krylov, or he just beat Walker? What I think is going to happen probably is Jiri Prochazka versus Rakic's winner faces Ankalaev for a title elimination belt probably. Or maybe Ankalaev fights right for the title, and then the winner of Prochazka Rakic fights the loser of Hill and Pereira. You know what I mean? So if Hill loses to Pereira, they'll probably do Prochazka versus Hill or something like that, which makes sense as well. You know what I mean? It makes sense to do. So I'm very interested in seeing what the light heavyweight division is going to unfold, because there's the two big matchups at UFC 300. So I'm very interested to see that. But yeah, Yuri Prochazka is an intense dude, and I'm glad I had the chance to have a conversation. So hopefully you guys will go and check out the interviews when it comes out on Full Violence, and just let them know that I'm the best interviewer of all time, right? Y'all gonna do that for me, right? TFB, TFB, TFB. Peace out, boys.